It's Dan and Alana's anniversary, and to celebrate, they are taking a top-down view of the place they call home.
Happy anniversary, Dan.
From up here, it's easy to see how Alice Springs is one of the most isolated towns in the world. Far enough away from the trouble of a big city, you would think.
Renowned as the jump-off point to tourism hotspots like Uluru, sadly, Alice Springs is renowned for its cyclical waves of violence and crime. Alcohol abuse, welfare dependence, a lack of good education, massive unemployment and domestic violence are tearing this community apart.
It's dealing with third world country standards and problems. You would not think that these things would happen in Australia.
It is incredible, it's a war zone.
I'm on an Outback highway, crossroads on the sign say, no turning back. I'm following this track, blue skies, endless road, Outback brother coming home. Blue skies, endless road, Outback brother coming home.
We've had these brothers on many times before. Paramedics, I've definitely got Tommy and Danny here, and welcome to the Karma Network.
Thank you, G-Man.
What got you involved in being ambos?
Well, mate, there is just an absolute need out there in the community, whether it's locally or international. We have to get out there and understand the social problems that are affecting our community at a grassroots level.
Well, most of your clients would be Aboriginal mob, you know, and you need to understand cultural aspects too of your work. It's not just about getting there and helping, but you need to understand the situations that you're going to.
Yep.
Yeah, certainly, Jerry. It's look, it's the world's most ancient living culture here in Central Australia, and it's a big case of culture clash and having a medical profession around an environment where there's lots of challenges in health.
Sensitive people, we find, are very prone to abuse, you know, whether it's alcohol, whether it's substance abuse or whatever. So, you know, and I think if you look at the Indigenous people worldwide, they're very sensitive people, very earthly people, and we can see it here in Central Australia where abuse is, you know, takes a hold of a lot of people in our community. And it's our community we have to deal with, you know, as people.
1800 crew, code 1, 1800 crew, code 1.
It's just another night for the paramedics of Alice Springs.
They got a baseball bat where? To the back?
To the around, like, I just thought I'm mad.
Dealing with alcohol abuse.
You're sick, mate.
I'm really...
You've been vomiting all over yourself.
Violence and trauma.
On a few occasions, you just rock up to the job and then next thing you know, you're locked in a bedroom somewhere while there's fighting going on.
Are you in pain anywhere? Nice slow breathing. Can you slow it down for me? Count.
No one has a greater understanding of the problem than Janna.
I wasn't too surprised because I was born here in Alice Springs. Went to school with Aboriginal people, was living with Aboriginal people. Yeah, and just loved it. So it's very much a part of our family.
A report of a female who has a substantial head lack.
I guess when people are unhappy in their own lives, they escalate in those areas of drinking more and they start fighting more. When it comes to like people getting murdered and at that level of violence, a lot of my friends have been killed.
To be honest, a lot hasn't improved. I mean, it's been probably worse the longer I've been in the job.
Michelle has been caught up in the violence.
We've had Bessa blocks smashed into our windscreen twice whilst just sitting in an ambulance, and certainly many a rocks thrown, punch resolved. Yeah, I'd say that's probably been the shocking part of it.
Leaving her to question if she will stay with the ambulance service.
After a while, that chips away at your esteem and your attitude to the point that you question being in the profession.
You know, at some point you have to pull the pin.
My mother been passed away over there.
Booger and I are in the middle of trucking yards camp, and we're just picking up another patient with abdo pain, normally secondary to alcohol abuse. Lots of assaults occur here, and the last thing we want to do is get caught in the middle of one.
You'll be good, all right?
So we try and spend as little time as possible.
It's a bit like a fire that gets started every day and it never gets put out.
So you're not sure what he hit you with? Fist or was it rock?
No, iron bar.
With an iron bar? Just the once?
Can't jump out of cars, man. You're in the middle of the highway.
Done it with a bottle, did he?
Yeah.
Tragically, it's not just the ruining of the lives of those caught up in the cycle of substance addiction, it's the ruining of their children's lives as well.
Alice Springs, the launch pad for some of Australia's most famous tourist attractions, is in the grip of a teenage crime wave, some say the worst in 30 years.
Empty of tourists, but children and teenagers, some as young as 6, are on the prowl.
The children are basically allowed to roam free at night time, as we've seen a lot of lately.
Travellers from Great Britain, Italy, Germany and Canada have been warned by their governments to stay away from Alice Springs because of violence and crime.
It's heartbreaking to see people living in conditions which you would do everything you can to avoid that with your own children, everything you could. There's some beautiful people that you meet in those communities, and there's people there that just want assistance and want help as well, like anyone else. And due to environmental pressures and alcohol consumption going on in those locations, that is just is a hell of an eye-opener.
We're seeing children in an environment that's degenerated, and feeling for them, because you see that their path is almost the writings on the wall, and you look at their parents and their aunties and uncles and so on, and you can't help but feel, I'm going to see you in that same boat. It's a rude awakening to see that their environment will shape their future, and that gets to you, certainly.
People talk about curfews and things like that, but you also have to respect the fact that you need a place for these kids to go to, and it's not an option taking kids back to environments where there's violence and continued fighting and huge consumptions of alcohol.
If something isn't done to curb the problem, Alice Springs risks becoming a ghost town.
Sometimes Indigenous people feel conflicted because they're getting told in one way to learn the European way of life, as well as they're trying to learn and keep going the Aboriginal culture, but they don't mix. They're very different in their laws and relationships.
I've worked in these communities and camps for over 10 years, and my heart just breaks every time I go into a lot of these communities. There's such great people and they're beautiful people, but life is harsh, and I can only imagine what these kids go through, particularly when sexual abuse is involved, substance abuse, and they've got no way out. The last thing you want to do is you want to cage someone. That's just a dead-end street.
Our Indigenous friends, I call them our first Australians, they have the opportunity, but they don't always have the caring that they deserve, to get themselves in a better situation.
To help the Indigenous kids of Alice Springs get their lives back on track, Janna is also working with an organisation known as Bush Mob.
Hey.
Hello, mate. I'm all right.
Today, Dan has shown up to lend a hand.
Hello, Christina.
Hello.
I'm Dan. Lovely to meet you. You all right?
I've been working alongside Bush Mob, which is a young people's program for disadvantaged, disengaged young people in Alice Springs, as well as we've branched out a bit. So we now get people from interstate as well coming here just for that respite, to get away from their troubles and learn about who they are and what they want to do with their life and get back on track.
Rather than watching movies, they'd rather be in here.
Yeah, making stuff.
Yeah.
Complex, very dynamic. And once they're here, they can't get out unless they've got permission
No,
or
if they
freedom
say they want to leave, we open the gate.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's unsecure. They can also jump the fence.
Yeah. I came to a job here a little while ago and it's because someone tried to jump the fence.
And hurt
it didn't work out well.
And people come here for 4 months.
Yeah.
So Christina's nearly finishing, hey?
Yeah.
Got two more weeks to go.
Yeah, 2 more.
And have you enjoyed your time here, mate?
Yep.
Yeah, good time. What's been your favourite?
Activities.
Yeah, what sort of activities?
I'm going out.
Like today, we're about to go horse riding.
Yeah, we're about to go horse riding.
The mob are heading out to a place where they can get back in touch with nature and perhaps forget about the problems at home.
Bush Mob was named by young people. It's a young person design type program. Its vision is pretty simple, and it was all about bush journeys I made in Central Australia for all young people. Yeah, and it was all about motivation and giving young people, you know, just a different chance at life.
Tremaine, I met you, Tremaine. I'm ambulance man. We're coming to say g'day and see what you guys get up to out here. Oh, well done, boys. Keeping fit.
It was great. The young people got to talk to him and say, hey, I've seen you around, Mr. Paramedic man. He was just amazed at how happy and healthy they were all looking.
Oh, it's just great seeing them out here and having fun.
Brad can run that dog. No, boys love them, eh?
It's fantastic to be able to see these kids outside of that environment with a smile on their face and looking forward to going for a horse ride. Here is, you know, where they can start to flourish again and where rehabilitation starts to take control, hopefully, and just give some structure and some purpose back in life.
For a lot of the Indigenous young people that are, you know, walking the streets in gangs causing problems, for a lot of them it's safer to be on the street in a gang than it is to be at home. Yeah, you shouldn't be scared to go home. I suppose it's a type of meditation in a way, that you're actually going out into quietness and stillness, and from there you can actually have that outside view on yourself and your life. As a paramedic, it's all instant crisis. You can help them right there and then, save a life, get them to hospital, but then you've got to hand them over. But now, when I do bush mob and things like that, I can get them out of that type of cycle of, you know, harm. As a paramedic, you might see people at their worst, and you think, you can't imagine what they would look like if they were happy and healthy. And then to actually see it, it looks like just different people. Just seeing the difference in that they're healthy and happy and laughing, it's worth everything, and that's what you fight for. Makes you feel good that you were one of those ones that believed in them, but no one else did.
Bush Mob shows what can be achieved when engagement with young people is made the priority.
G'day, folks.
Very much how the boys are trying to educate on climate change.
It's as busy as we've ever been, and now it's an opportunity to say, hey, let's rekindle the core message of what created Earth Sanctuary, and perhaps that means we can get back into things we really love doing and making noise and making a racket.
Hello, I'm Ernie Cool.
And we can play your didgeridoo.
They've come up with some clever ideas to make the message more fun and engaging. Using modern technology, it's allowing them to reach children from all over the country.
I love being a part of it. It's a lot of fun, and it's always interesting, and yeah, it's much needed, all these different projects in the world, like environmental awareness to motivation to teaching, and when it's all about good stuff and things that generally get pushed aside, I encourage it.
People are coming to us and saying, well, how do we teach people to adapt to climate change? What are the key ingredients of getting people sustainable? Coming from a background where Mum and Dad were both teachers, and I think that naturally flowed through with the boys and myself. We felt it was important to be able to share that with the community around you.
Start off small and hopefully it will grow and then be like wildfire, and it catches on with everyone, you know, and I'm sure everyone deep down knows that it's the right thing to do. It's just a matter of creating that awareness and getting it out there.
We just need more and more places like Earth Sanctuary around the planet. So it'd be lovely to see places like the Sanctuary franchise, particularly into capital cities, into built-up environments where there is a greater separation, I guess, between people and the land. It's just essential. There is no greater predicament at the moment on this planet than climate change, and we can only hope that Earth Sanctuary inspires and motivates other people to do similar things. We by no means feel like we're the experts. We just are a great family who are having a go, really. So as I said, hopefully that inspires other people to do the same thing.
The famous GAN arriving in Alice Springs. Its halfway point in its nearly 3,000 kilometre journey from Adelaide to Darwin, bringing more tourists and travel bloggers to the sanctuary. They come for the star shows, to learn about sustainable living. But mostly they've come for the cooking, as Joey's bush oven has become an international attraction.
Dad's a pretty good cook, comes from a Maltese background, always been very handy in the kitchen. It just goes hand in hand with our early days of camping. We thought that it was fitting that we include it in our dinner and shows. It's a really beautiful way of cooking. Once you master the temperature elements of the fire, you can make some really beautiful dishes.
He's certainly the chief of the tribe when it comes to cooking in the fire.
So it became an activity while you're actually having fun and working at the same time, you know. So that's still going on, and I hope it continues. Okay, here we go.
It's not only the guests and flying celebrities that he's cooking for. With his golf buggy, he's also the local Uber Eats, delivering bush oven cuisine to the busy families at Earth Sanctuary.
Some surf and turf.
Oh, you beauty.
Here we go, Tommy.
What do you got here, Dad? Looks like a good tucker for the Outback.
Oh,
Where'd you find some mussels around here?
I'm a bit concerned, being in the middle of the desert. Where did we get this seafood from? That's great. Can't say I've ever had mussels for breakfast before, Dad, but those are bloody good.
Today, however, Joey will be cooking for some very special guests. He wants them to feel at home and is cooking a modern take on a traditional dish.
Hey, Dad.
I know you're stressed out a bit, mate, and you're flat out, but we need the ingredients.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, thanks, Dad. I'll see you soon. Rightio. Bye.
It needs one vital ingredient you can only find in the wild, or an Alice Springs supermarket.
Perfect. What size do you want, Dad?
Here you go, Dad. Here's your kangaroo tail.
Fantastic.
You beauty.
Rightio. Let's get cooking.
Kangaroo tail, considered to be a delicacy for the first Australians. While it may look tougher than an old boot, once cooked, it's a very different story. The locals, however, don't bother with all of this. They just chuck it straight on the fire.
Now, people might actually question, you know, here we are eating our most famous emblem, the kangaroo. You know, our Indigenous first Australians here have been eating kangaroo and emu and everything else that runs along the land for over 40, 50,000 years. It's the most sought after meat. The tail in particular is sought after by the elders.
The meat is high in protein and low in fat and has been found to have a wide range of health benefits, including anti-carcinogenic, anti-diabetes, and even reduces obesity. Good on you, Skip.
But the flavouring is absolutely amazing. And just keep that fire nice and low so that it just cooks very, very gently.
As usual, Joey's timing is absolutely perfect. The guests have arrived and are keen to have some musical fun before they have some bush tucker.
Drumatum, which means in the Arana language, atuma means to hit something, and that's what the kids named it. It was about 12 years ago it started, and one of the main things was we're just doing drumming at school and having fun, and then out of that grew the drum group, and it was really set up to look at introducing music to kids that were deemed at high risk in their daily lives. And that was from abuse and alcohol around them, violence around them on a daily basis. Over the years, I've known 6 girls who were murdered. You know, young girls, I'm talking 17, 18-year-old girls from jealous, drunken boyfriends. And that's what pushes me. I go, nah, no more of this, you know, can't have it. The main issues is self-doubt, low self-esteem, to be easily led into getting into trouble, having, in some cases, not many role models around them, and fathers and brothers and sisters and aunties and everything have been locked up in prison. Drumming's a really good way to release a whole lot of stuff. The tools are in place for them to change and make a better life for themselves, and that's early intervention. And what it's done over 12 years has changed a lot of kids' lives. Going interstate and going on trips and things like that, and taking kids to the beach. They've never seen a beach in their lives, and them looking at a pier, and about 4 of the girls went, oh, no, I'm not going any further because that bridge is broken. Every day something happens which is the most delightful thing in the world.
The kangaroo tail stew is ready and it's looking and smelling fantastic. Joey even made a chocolate damper for dessert, and young Charlie wants to make sure it's up to her papa's standard.
When we started coming here, I really felt at one with this place. They're always excited when they come out here. It's just infectious. It's just the best thing in the world. That's a great thing.